So I get a lot of people asking me about the process I use for painting Pandanus trees, and we love you so much that I'm actually doing this in the middle of summer. So I'm actually thinning out, this is an important ingredient, I'm actually thinning out my paint with my own perspiration. So I've thrown some colour down to kind of roughly work out where my Pandanus tree's going to be, and then gone over it and painted the water. So now I have to re-establish my Pandanus tree, and to do that I'm just going to use a bit of chalk. Chalk's fantastic. If you make any mistakes or something, you can always just paint over them later, or paint over the chalk marks later and they just disappear. So I've mixed up a bit of burnt umber and French ultramarine blue, and I'm just blocking in. I'm actually going to put another branch going out there like that. This tree's been beaten up. So what I'm going to do now is get a little bit of colour and go over the chalk marks. I'm just going to use the sky colour reflected on the bits that are kind of pointing at the sky. I'm going to repeat that same process now, but with the light that's bouncing up from the sand. So before we reflected the sky on the top, now we're going to reflect the sand, or the light bouncing up off the sand on the underside. So what I'm going to do, I've kind of got my darkest darks in, but I haven't got my lightest lights in, and I want this tree to be in the sunlight, so I want lots of white light. So anywhere where I think there's white light now, I'm just going to go around, and that establishes my lightest lights and my darkest darks, and I can go back and tidy all this up later. This is still me kind of finding my way around the painting. So I've established my darks and my lights and sort of roughly happy with most of where everything is, but I'm just going to come through now and make some of the leaves backlit, because that's another major part of this picture, and I like to kind of have all that stuff worked out before I work on the painting properly. So for future reference, forest green and cadmium yellow medium are the best. Well, depending on your leaves of course, but they end up being perfect colours for using or creating the illusion of something being backlit. So anywhere where I think the sun will be hitting these leaves and shining through them, I'm going to put that lovely greeny combination. So I've added some more cadmium yellow medium to that, and I'm just running that on strategically on some of these leaves, and hopefully what it's doing is creating the illusion that the leaves are translucent slightly, that there's light shining through them, but it's also giving them some volume, because I'm creating the impression of light hitting a ridge. These highlights hopefully should create the illusion that there is a ridge on the other side of that leaf. So we should be starting to see some volume there. So some of you might be wondering why I didn't paint out all of this stuff from the water first. The reason I didn't is because I knew that if I put this bit of light coming through that's backlit, it would hide most of that anyway, and so now I've only got to trick up a few little bits rather than repair the whole paint over that whole area. So the answer is I'm lazy. So I've mixed up a nice dark green, forest green dioxazine purple, a bit of cadmium yellow medium, and I'm just going to deepen up the areas in which I think there's going to be some fairly strong shading. So I've mixed up a colour that kind of halfway between my shadow color and my light reflected color, and I'm just softening that transition there. This is where I go to my rule of 3. I sort of stick with roughly 3 incremental, or a minimum of 3 incremental shifts. And you should get a fairly convincing transition. So I've added some white and cadmium yellow light to that last colour. I'm just going to soften the transitions between all my colours. So this bit I'm about to do here is really, really cool, because what it does is it really creates some zing and some pop. And I've left it till the last minute because, or not the last minute, but towards the end of the picture, because I'm going to come back and put white over the top of it. And quite often the white light is so strong that it kills those darker browns, and I want to kind of create that illusion of reality. So this little bit that I'm doing now, these browns, represent the death of, or the dying ends of the leaves, and burnt umber and dioxazine purple is perfect for that. Some of you might be curious about this brush. I can't tell you what it is or where it came from, except that I stole it from one of the other girls in the collective. So please don't show her this video. So I'm just coming back now with some white, and I'm just going to tidy up some of those edges and bump up that contrast a little bit. You kind of do this with your brush too. You can create the illusion of those thorns down the edge. Just to whack a bit more light through the back of the trees, or through the back of the leaves. I've got a fair bit of water in that, so it'll dry back a little bit. So now I'm going to come back with neat dioxazine purple and just bump up some of these darks. Now if you ever have a close look, all these little dead bits on the trees have a little dark line around them, and Pandanus trees have got lumps and bumps and scratches all over them from their leaves blowing against each other in the wind, I'm guessing. See that lovely flash of purple there? Just kind of talks to you. So this orange is almost radioactive, but looks great. And you just stick a bit of it there. Because where those leaves die, this lovely flash. Just the tiniest little flash of orange, but it's too beautiful not to exaggerate. This is a really lovely colour combination to bounce up on the underside of trunks and Pandanus tree dead leaves and things like that, and it's just literally just burnt umber with a little bit of cadmium yellow medium. It's got this lovely kind of greeny goldy hue and it's nice and subtle. Nice bright day, lots of sun. Bam, nice bright highlight. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed watching that as much as I enjoyed painting it.